Hey, Shalom, I want to start off souls by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakudash, double honors to the apostles, great most, and honors to you brothers doing the work of the most in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh, his real name of whom the Lord ignorantly calls God, Jehovah or Yahweh, his real name is Yahweh, and the Son's true name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba meaning in, Her meaning done, Shah meaning names, Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. This is a quick one on the what you call the assassination of Shinzo Abe, right? The what you call old prime minister of Japan. Not got too much in terms of switches at the moment. We'll see where the spirit leads. But basically, I was having conversation with someone that kind of knows a bit more about the Japan China relations. Because he had certain relations to Japan, so I sent him the news in the morning, right? And he basically, replied back to me, and it was like, the thought basically on everyone's mind, that kind of knows more about the situation was, I hope it wasn't like a Chinese person, right? Because on the ground there, they still have rifts, right, from history, like then you also had a whole thing about if it was, say, like government, Chinese government backed, then that would have actually led to war. But one of the things that came out that I found quite interesting was Shinzo Abe was actually well, let me read this here. Right? So this was from the Sirius report. It says Abe has been shot. There are several claims about his current condition. We now know that he's dead. It says there will be many theories expressed with regards to this incident. However, the fallout will be immense, both domestically and internationally. This individual asked, why should we care about a former PM's assassination? Right, this was it, pro-American ally, right? These are symbolic actions and what's coming, which even that, we are we're very much expecting this world order to change, right? We know that there are certain things that are going to happen, right? But then I came across something even more interesting, right? It says his grandfather, also a prime minister, was a CIA spy, according to CIA publication. Right now, I wasn't able to confirm this for myself, this thing here, right? One thing that is in the history, right? Nobusuke Kishi, right, is says was a Japanese bureaucrat and politician who was prime minister of Japan from 57 to 60. I'm going to jump down here, right? It says after World War II, Kishi was imprisoned for 3 years as a suspected Class A war criminal, right? However, the US government did not charge, trial, or convict him, and eventually released him as they considered Kishi to be the best man to lead a post-war Japan in a pro-American direction, right? Pro-American direction that very much seems to kind of corroborate what this is saying, because that's what these devils do, right? They go into a country, right? They let make controls on that particular country, right? And then they make that country follow their own rules. This is Habakkuk 2 and 5. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, right? Which wine has gone into his man's philosophies, right? Esau's philosophies. It says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, right? And is as death and cannot be satisfied, meaning that there is no fulfilling this guy. He's always constantly getting this, getting more, getting more, getting more. Why? Because, that's the spirit which is lifted up in him is not upright. Okay, it says, neither keepeth the home, and who enlargeth his desires hell, and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right. Well, the point that I wanted to get here is neither keepeth at home. Right, this man doesn't keep at home, and then now, for instance, you've got what you call it, you've got military bases in Japan, right? And recently, one of the things I had in an article, I didn't really go too much into it, but Shinzo Abe signed a declaration basically saying, look, we're going to start doing, cooperating with like other militaries, right? Other allies, right? Militarily, right? And the article said, it was a New York Times article, no, it was a Washington Post article, and it was saying that this alarmed South Korea, and then this angered China, this particular statement that Shinzo Abe made. right? But it also makes you, realize and remember Job 9:24 says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" Right? So the Lord has given Esau the power of the earth. That's why, you look at all of these different countries, and ultimately, we wouldn't be surprised if one way or another, right, these different leaders of these different countries, I mean, we know that we're definitely going to be paid off or under control or whatever, what have you, right? But they, down the line may even be damn Rothschilds, who knows, right? Because he very much understands about bloodlines and everything, right? Not saying that's the case, not saying that's the case, just definitely saying that there is there's always more than meets the eye, right? And once again, I was very much unaware of this particular a bit of history, right? So this is the CIA and Japanese politics, right? It's a book. I couldn't read it, but basically this is one of the things here. So the third section is devoted to the involvement of former Prime Minister Nobusuke Kishi with the CIA, right? So this particular claim, right? Like I said, I haven't been able to independently verify, but what we've read here and what we've read here, right? Kind of corroborates the claim, right? So then now you see that he has been killed, right? Especially the fact that he was killed by a gun as well. This is where we start going into things where start asking the question, okay, what is the agenda being pulled here, right? So it says, let me see here, right? So when I say people don't think about violent crime here, I'm not exaggerating. Yes, there are Yakuza, Japan's famously violent organized crime gangs, but most people never come into contact them. Even the Yakuza shy away from guns because the penalties for illegal possessions are just not worth it, right? Owning a gun in Japan is extremely difficult, right? So then to have him killed by way of a gun, with all of this gun crime legislation and and talk about in America, where we definitely are asking the questions, what is this, what more is actually happening behind the scenes. Where I was watching a video Apostle Tahar did the other day, and he basically said, hey, this has been basically a very a strange couple of days, roughly paraphrasing, right? They fire up CERN, right? There's the mass shooting on July the 4th, right? The what do you call these things? The Georgia Guidestones break, right? And then now, a former PM of a major economy, if not, if yeah, I think they're second or third. I mean, Japan's economy is up there, right? Former prime minister for a major economy is assassinated, right? And you all in the space of what is Friday the 8th of July, right? So all in a couple of days, right? Another thing as well that was of note is this, right? So in recent years, we have seen another type of crime becoming more common here: the quiet, lonely male with a grudge against something or someone, right? It gives a few examples. So this also then starting to touch into the the Esau pushing this idea that men are problematic, right? Why? Because in fact, another earlier on in the day, or maybe yesterday, I was reading one article which is basically saying how it's so great that Japan now has a whole host of what you call of women politicians, right? That they can choose for on the voting ballot, right? But this is what the scriptures say in regards to that. In fact, we can get a few precepts, right? This is Jeremiah 31:22, right? It says, "How long will thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man." Right? So he's basically creating this society, putting women on, in positions above men, right? And basically emasculating men, making men, almost second class citizens, right? So the fact that this is even in discussion makes you think, okay, cool, is what agenda are they trying to push, right, with this? And this is the thing, scriptures talk about how this man's heart is deep, man, right? Which cool, let's pull that up. This is Psalm 64 and 6, right? It says, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep, right? So this is going into the fact that, nothing goes, nothing this man does, right, is he's always doing research, he's always going into things, right? It's not like Jake, where when Jake run a project, there's a whole host of things wrong with the particular project or whatever, what have you. Now Esau goes in, right? Because why he gives his different his different researchers or whoever he sets up the time and the word is the liberty, right, to go out and perform these different archaeological digs or to perform these experiments with psychology or whatever, right? So both the inner thought and every one of them and the heart is deep, right? This man's mind is constantly moving, always thinking of new things, right? Trying to basically thinking of the best way of controlling, killing these people, right? So I think that was on that one. This is First Timothy, uh, 2, right, and 12 says, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Right, for Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression, right? It says, I will finish off, notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness and sobriety. Right, so this is the more natural order of things. Read First Corinthians, the 11th chapter, tells you, about how the Yahweh is the head, right? Yahweh Shah is underneath. The man is underneath Yahweh. The Israelite man's underneath Yahweh Shah, and then you have the Israelite woman, right? That is the order, right? But in Esau's world, right, he's turned everything upside down, right? And what was I gonna say? Yeah, but the point I wanted there is not to usurp authority of the man, but that's definitely what Esau's trying to push, right? He's got all kinds of different agendas all over the world, right? We read Job 9:24, right? The fact that, for example, as an example, in South Korea, right, the men just the other day, like maybe a month or two ago, were protesting against, feminism coming over, being pushed in South Korea. However, right, they basically, you look at some of the men and the men are really effeminate, right? Then you look at Japan, right, where basically they sell more adult diapers in Japan than they do baby diapers. Why? They've got an aging population. What does that show you? That is very much part of Esau's New World Order agenda. Then you look at China and the whole one child policy, okay, to the point where now I think that's from what Esau says, right, it's skewed very heavily on there being more men than there are women, okay. So yeah, that was just what I wanted to kind of touch on that. Like I said, a little bit of background, a little bit of history on Shinzo Abe, right? And once again, the fact that this particular thing here. So you already know he was set up. For all we know, he's still alive, right? Just doing got going into hiding or whatever have you, right? Because he's nothing you can't believe anything Esau says, man. Because Esau's constantly pushing out lies, because that is in his spirit. It's Psalms 58 and 3. It says the wicked are estranged from the womb, right? And these Edomites, these so-called white people, they are the wicked, right? You have the wicked Israelites, but the wicked, the people of the wicked, those are these Edomites, man. It says they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies, right? So constantly lying, man, right? So yeah, as always, Lord's will, that was edifying. And to the next time we say, Shalom.